Welcome to my latest Airbnb that we just finished refinancing and been operating the last 2.5 months. I want to give you guys a deal breakdown and the true numbers of what we actually make on this property and if Airbnb still works. But before we get into that, if you guys wanted to know what we end up doing to this property as far as renovation, how much it cost us, what was our ideal analysis look like, what kind of numbers we end up coming up with, make sure you guys check out that video somewhere on the screen. I give you guys a detailed, in-depth analysis approach to underwriting Airbnb. To give you guys a short recap of what our numbers look like when we first did the analysis, I end up ballparking this property to generate between $3,200 to $3,800 a month in gross revenue. And using AirDNA data, we end up coming up with $52,800 per year on the annual income on this property. All right, let's jump into the refinance section of this video and on this property. So we end up using a BRRR method. We end up thinking the ARV for this property was right around $300,000 to $305,000, but the appraisal came in at $322,000, which freaking is amazing. We got an interest rate of 7.5. I know it's not the best, but it was the best at the time that we ended up refinancing. I know rates are hovering between 6.5 to 6.7 as of right now since my last quote. We end up getting a loan of $241,500 on this property, which we were able to clear our first lien position of a hard money, which was the amount of $196,000. And then it cleared mostly, I would say 99% of our second lien position of $33,000. So we got proceeds of $32,054.05. So that covered majority of the second lien position, and we had to come out of pocket $1,000, give or take. Our monthly payments, including taxes and insurance for this property, is $1,911.06, which is absolutely not the best, but it's still a great deal for what this property cash flows. Now, what's good about this is that our first mortgage payment is due September 1st. So basically in 15 days from this recording. And this gives us a great room and timeline to build cash flow and a war chest for this property if anything were to happen to it. At the same time that we were doing our refinance, we went live on Airbnb on May 22nd, 2024, and then we got our first booking on May 25th, 2024. All right, let's talk profitability on this property. So, like I said before, we have our first booking on May 25th. And so we're gonna count 30 days after that as our first full month. We end up having a 30-day cycle ending on June 25th. Our first month, we came very close to the underwriting of this property. We end up making $3,185.48. which is super close. Now we do self-manage, and based on our numbers and based on our expenses and what we end up spending on each property and averaging out, we end up making between 30 to 35% net profit margins. This property, if we had a mortgage on it, which we do, but it hasn't kicked in yet, we would average between $950 to $1,100 in net cash flow. Now, our second month is even crazier. Our second month, we end up grossing $4,962.33, which is absolutely crazy. Since we don't have a mortgage, all of that goes back into our war chest to cover any future repairs, any high vacancies, or anything that may cause us to be down of operations. And I know we have our holding costs that are associated with here. We have our utilities, we have our landscaping, any repairs that we end up having, or any last minute adjustments, and even materials that we have to end up buying on a repeating basis, like those toilet paper, towels, etc. Okay, so now that we're in our third month is not completely over just yet. We are projecting to make, based on the reservations that we currently have right now, $5,172.52, which is absolutely crazy. All that money that I end up selling you guys is going to go back into our war chest to make sure that we are operational for those low seasonal periods. And I know that we are in our summer months, and summer months are obviously the busiest months of this short-term rental game. Now, Richmond itself has been on a tear in the last 10 years. And a lot of folks are moving down here from the northern regions of the East Coast, which is great for me because obviously I'm in the path of progress. And so we understand that in the winter months, it's going to be low, and we're going to use that war chest money to offset some of that. Now, if everything is going the way it's projected right now, and let's say we plateau maybe $4,500 to $5,000 a month in gross income, we're going to exceed or be at $53,000 in gross income on this property based on the AirDNA data, which is absolutely amazing. But that is it for how much money we end up making on this particular property in the last 2.5 months. Thanks for watching, guys. You guys should subscribe because 3 months later, I'm gonna do a video to show you guys how this property performed. So go ahead and hit that button below. Hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.